So here we are, today's job, we're going to be doing a boiler install. We've got a Valent Turbo Max coming out and an ECA 30 kilowatt going in. So me and Josh have got everything ready. Everything's in the back of the van. Let's get inside, have a look and see what's going on. Right, so here we are, just getting into the job. So what we're going to be fitting today is an ECA 30 kilowatt combi. What's coming out is this old dinosaur. So it's done well for its time. Got a nice old Valent Turbo Max there, so that's going to be coming out, and going to be putting in this lovely ECA. So first things first, just unloaded everything out the van, just getting everything set up. Luckily we've got feeds here, so we've got hot and cold feeds for the washing machine. So we're going to take the hot feed to fill up the power flush machine first. The gas is 15 from here, however from the basement where the gas run comes, it's in 22 as far as we can see. So we're going to upgrade it from here in 22 all the way to the boiler and check the working pressure. The customer's going to be getting the kitchen redone at a later stage, so if it's not quite enough, once they start ripping this out, we'll be able to upgrade the gas run from underneath. I'll show you that when we get down to the basement. Flue is, well, we're going to be changing that flue. We're going to be coring a new flue hole out through the side there. Customer wants the boiler to be raised up a bit because they're going to be putting new units here, so hopefully it will fit inside the units. So the plan is, so up here we're going to be, we'll have to take out this washing line, etc., and core a new flue hole here. Condense at the moment, we're going to aim is to core a new hole here, and we've got a gully just down there, so a bit of a long run, or we might see if we can tee into here. Again, the customer's gonna, when they redo the kitchen, the condensate will be rerun into the kitchen sink. So we'll see if we've got provisions to run into the kitchen sink today. If not, then we'll do it outside and run into the gully, and then come back and sort it out once the kitchen's been done. So first things first, get this boiler off the wall. It's not going to be light, these aren't light at all, so we'll get this off the wall, start the power flush and get the new boiler on the wall and get it all running. Keep you guys posted. So just draining the boiler down, and I thought easiest way is coming out, so drain it out through the PRV. Have a look at this. PRV has not even been connected inside the wall, so I was draining it out and water just starts coming out of there. Let's have a look at the other end, Josh. Not even been soldered, so just going to twist that round, put a hose on it, run it outside and drain it out through there, and then get this beast off the wall. So the boiler's all been disconnected from underneath. It's pretty much ready to come off the wall, but it's a beast, it's heavy, so I've got the reinforcements with me. There we go. Right, let's watch me struggle get this one off now. How's the wall looking?
It's fucked. I have to knock the whole place down, but I have to build it again.
You heard it.
It's there's breeze up behind, that's why.
Right. So yeah, so I literally had to rip the boiler off the wall with the bracket. There she is, in all her glory. So yeah, we're gonna have to see where we can get decent fixings. Otherwise, use a bit of resin. Got some core fix screws. We'll find a way. Hopefully the new bracket will sit higher up because we need to raise the boiler anyway, so we should be able to get some decent fixings. Let's give it a go. So the power flush is all running now, so we've just taken the feed straight off the primary flying returns, valved off the cold there with the butterfly valve. I've just capped the gas for now so we don't get any shit down it. I put a cap on the hot so we don't get anything back feeding. Power flush wise, got the Nordstrom. So this is the thermal one, so right now it's sitting at about 30 degrees. That was at 60, but it's obviously going to cool down as it's circulating. Got the AD magnets in conjunction with it, and using C600 from McDonald Plumbing Supplies. Getting a bit tongue twisted there. Old boiler's out. So the plan now is I'm going to try and get some good fixings on it. I need to take out the old flue there. I need to measure out where I'm going to be doing my new flue hole. Try and get some decent fixings on there, get the boiler on the wall, and then crack on. We're going to keep the power flush running in the meantime. Josh is going to be focusing on that, while I'm going to be focusing on trying to get the boiler done, so keep you guys posted how I get on. Right, slight hiccup. The boiler that we've been given, right brand, wrong model. This is the ECA Confio Premix. We needed the Proteus one, which is the white one, so luckily they're only about 15-20 minutes away, so I've just called them. They're going to send a driver, pick this one up and drop off the new one. In the meantime, thing is, I'm not even sure if the templates are the same, so I don't know if I can do the core hull. Don't want to risk it until we've got the new one. We just have to make do. In the meantime, we'll just crack on with the power flush, I guess. Okay, so the flue hole is done. So we've done 152mm core holes, so we're going to be using the flue snugs for this. I borrowed the Milwaukee one from my friend because I thought this wall might be a bit difficult to get through. I don't have a dedicated core drill, so I've been using the Titan from Screwfix, but that didn't work. That did. It wasn't too bad getting through that in the end. So now we're just going to get the pipe snug, or the flue snugs in. We're on the last ride for the power flush. We need to block up that hole first because the bracket's going to go partially over it. So block up that hole, seal it up, get the bracket on, do our flue, get the boiler on the wall, keep things moving. So what Josh is just bricking up the flue hole from the outside. Done the inside, so we use the rapid set cement, so just got to wait for that to go off. And then the bracket, because it sits across it, luckily there's no screw holes in the middle, it's only got screw holes on either side, but it does go across it, so we need to get that blocked out before the boiler goes on. Just finished doing the power flush, and there's the magnets, so it's picked up a fair bit of dirt on there. So now we're going to clean those off, and then we're going to start dumping the system one by one again. Right, so the flue's done. So this is what I love about the flue snug. I haven't got to do any sand cement. Just conforms to part L, creates an airtight and watertight seal. So we're going for black on the outside and white on the inside, because the flue itself is white but then the terminal's black, so yeah, matches up nicely. Boiler's on the wall. Power flush is just dumping now, so we're going to start getting this piped up and crack on. So just finished in the gas, had a massive drop, found out one of the fittings here has failed. You can see the bubble there. First I thought it might be coming from under the floor, but luckily it's that. Although it's a nuisance, I can deal with that. Okay, so we've finished the boiler, just commissioning it now. I do need to come back and sort out the thermostat because it was meant to be delivered here today, but it's not arrived. So I just need to come back and sort out the wiring and fit the new thermostat. Other than that, working pressure is all good. We've got 1 millibar difference between the meter and the boiler, so that's all good. Analyzer readings are spot on. Josh is just gas rating it, and we should be all good. Outside, it's probably a bit dark now, but yeah, that's all pluming away nicely. So yeah, it's all looking good. Just going to finish off the commissioning and then call it a day. Oh, what a day, what a day. Finished a lot later than I expected to. I think we got held up with the gas leak, and also where the old boiler, well, where the boiler that they sent us was the wrong model, and then also where I called the flue hole, I couldn't hang the new boiler until I'd blocked up the old one. So yeah, time just got ahead of me, and the time now is, well, I've had to, don't want to know what the time is. It's 9:45. But here's what it is. We have good days, we have bad days. I wouldn't necessarily it was a bad day, just a bit of a long day. Here's what it is. Crack on, move on to the next one. I'll keep you guys posted once I get back there and I've wired up the stat and everything. I mean, everything's working, it's all been commissioned, but I'm just going to neaten up the wiring a bit once I've done the stat. So yeah, should be good. Right, so today's job, we've got this Honeywell twin channel program coming up, and we're going to be putting in another Honeywell Evo home system because the customer wants to be able to control the radiators individually. So we're going to be swapping this out. I'm going to be replacing the hot water section with a single channel time switch, and then for the radiator side, we've got the receiver box here for the Honeywell Evo home system. So it's going to be split, and the way I'm going to wire it is as if it's two combis rather than on an S plan, because now each zone valve is going to be controlled by, the hot water zone valve is going to be controlled by the time switch and the cylinder stat, and the heating zone valve is going to be controlled by the receiver box for the Honeywell EVA home system. So technically I've got to split the twin channel programmer and wire it as 2 combis. So yeah, let's crack on. So the good thing about swapping these over, because it's Honeywell time switch for Honeywell twin channel programmer, the back plates are exactly the same, so we don't need to change the back plates over. However, this is what actually does all the works, and the switching and everything is all done from here. These are literally just terminal holders for it. So where this is currently wired as a twin channel programmer, we can keep this as it is and just remove the heating control side, which is going to be number 4. And then in here, we keep the hot water side wired in. Where we're looking at hot water needs to go into number 4. So we just move the hot water on from number 3 to number 4. So that will then be able to control the hot water, disconnect this cable, which is our heating demand, and then we'll come back to the wiring center, trace the cable back into there, and then take another feed from there for the heating side, and probably put another receiver box, pop the EVA home receiver box either up here next to there. We'll find a space for it to be all uniform, but yeah, just got to rejig a bit of the wiring here, take a new feed from there, and then pop the new receiver box on the wall. So now I'm just tracing this cable back to the wiring center. So I've come around here. Easiest way, I've just tugged the cable, but just to confirm it, it is this one here. And to double confirm it, where the blue was the heating demand, that is then wired into this terminal, which is linked over to this terminal, which is linked to the brown on this zone valve. If you follow that cable down, that goes down to the heating zone valve. So they've never had a thermostat fitted here, so it's literally been heating on or off from the programmer with no actual temperature control. So that just confirms that we've identified the right cable. So now we're going to disconnect that from here and then take another feed off of here with a new cable, get a new bit of wire, and then put the receiver box there. So just to update you guys, so what we've done here is same as if you saw my last Honeywell EVA home video. Live and neutral, A is our common, and that are basically taken from the wiring center as another permanent live, and B is our switch live, which is now going to be going back to the brown on the heating zone valve. So following that round to here, so we've got permanent live and neutral, which are basically just linked out to the permanent live there. That's our black, so that's our switch live, and neutrals are neutral. And then the time switch, I moved where we had 3 and 4 and just took the heating one out, moved the hot water from number 3 to number 4. So that's going to just work as a time switch controlled by the cylinder stat in there. And now this will be controlled by the individual TRVs. And we have a special visitor. V's come to see how I'm doing this wiring stuff, so gets a little bit more experience on it. And then he's probably going to get me to do one for him as well later on. Right, going to put this all back together and get it powered on and give it a test run. Okay, so power's on. Everything's been set up. Well, I just need to set the time on that. The EVA home, the customer is going to set up the TRVs themselves, so I'm just going to test it manually from the receiver box at the moment. So if I pop that on, we should see the heating zone valve motoring over, which it does. Wait for the click. There we go, that's clicked. That will then be sending power to the boiler, which is in the kitchen. If I turn that off, there, that motor's over, so we know that's doing what it's supposed to do. Let's test the hot water side. So now we want to see that motoring over. Okay, which that isn't at the moment. So unless the cylinder stat is very satisfied, I'll double check that. Because as long as we've got power going here, I just need to trace it down to the cylinder stat cable. And if we've got power at the common, then we know it's fine. And I'll try and tweak it and see if I can get it to turn on. So got the stat open. If I turn it up just to prove it, no, that should be motoring over. Okay, let me check what's going on with the wiring. Right, figured out my mistake. What I was supposed to do is I jumped the gun a bit. So where I've moved my hot water from number 3 to number 4, which is fine, but what about my common? Because now this new time switch needs a common, so a link between live and 1, which I haven't put in there. So I just got to put a link between live and 1. Then once that turns on, that will send 240 to number 4, which will then go to the wiring center, go to the cylinder start, and get fire on. So just going to get that sorted now. Okay, so put that little link between my live and common. So let's put the faceplate back on. I just find these a little bit fiddly. Let's get back on. There we go. Right, now let's power that on. So we've got demand on there already. Yeah, there you go. Now that's motored over straight away. And if I kill the demand, so turn that off. There you go, that's gone stiff. So that's shut. So simple mistake, all done. So I'll set the times and everything on there, and then we're good to go. Say hi, Josh.
Hello.
Right, so we are starting a new boiler install today. Weather's a bit overcast today, it's a bit of drizzle. Luckily we're not doing much outside, and we've got this Baxi 816 heat only going in. So it's a heat only swap that we're doing today. There's an old Potterton, I forgot what it is, but it's one of the old Pottertons in there. So we're going to be doing this as a rear flue, because of the way the boiler's sitting, it's sitting in a cupboard, and the current one's rear flue. So we're going to keep this one rear flue as well. Otherwise we'd have to drop it and it's going to sit outside the cupboard, etc. Show you guys once we get in. There we go, nice bit of light. So this is the boiler that's coming off. Potterton Prima. These weigh an absolute ton. A cast iron heat exchanger. Last time I took one of these off, I almost bloody broke my back. So this should be fun. But yeah, you can see it's open. Yep. So rear flue. So this flue's going to go in the same place there. We've got quartz worktop. So the contents we need to get into the washing machine waste. Either I've got a drill bit, a diamond drill bit. Hopefully we can make a hole just down there and pop it in. If not, we'll have to run the condensers perhaps along the upstand here, down, make a hole through here and go through there. But we'll pull the washing machine out afterwards and have a look. So first things first, we're going to be, let's just get the system drained out, get this boiler off the wall, and then go from there. Right, just to show you with the wiring side of things, let me see if I can get a slightly closer look. So these old ones, you've got live, neutral, switch live, you've got earth, and then a pump live. The new boiler, it doesn't need a permanent live or a pump over on, so all it needs is a switch live, neutral and earth. So we're going to terminate the permanent live here safely, link the pump live to the switch live cable, and then neutral and earth will just go in as normal, and that's as easy as it gets. So got the system drained out, cut the flying returns out the top, mark them as such. Now for these ones you have to undo the flue from the inside. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 butterfly wing nuts on there. So you undo that so that that can separate the back of the flue from the boiler. And then, well, you can't see from here, but there's a bracket underneath there, and the actual bracket that the boiler sits in sort of in the middle. So you've got to lift it up and out, and yeah, they're not light. So we're just going to start undoing the flue first and then try and lift it off. So the flue is all disconnected from the inside, undone the wing nuts, gas is all disconnected as well. Just come outside, it's raining, so I'll just show you quickly. Stay at that flue, it's completely rotten there. So regardless, it's a good thing it's coming out. Now this is going to be the fun part.
Yeah, so you just got to basically trace out the line. You can be on the safe side as well.
Right, Josh.
I've got to go, man. I'm going to call you back in 2 minutes.
Right, going to need you somehow.
Go on. What do you need?
I don't know. I'm kind of winging it. I think the brackets are going to be ripped off the wall again. I'm probably just going to need you to brace me or whatever.
Go on. Okay. Yeah. Mind you.
No, that's fine. I'm good. It's caught in my trousers.
This will take the light for you.
Alright, I'm okay. That wasn't as bad as the last one.
This is a mask code accordingly. And the staircase is a pipe in the way as well. I just cut it. I was like,
We love flatheads, don't we?
we should be able to tap through that flue, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be able to tap it through from the inside now. Oh, got it out. Right, it's dot and dabble. Yeah, it's dot and dab, so I'll probably get core fixes. So we've got a cavity here as well. Right, boiler's off. Just got to line up the template. So because we're going with the rear flue, our template is literally just going to go there. I might have to cut these a little bit higher, otherwise it's gonna, the tails are literally just there. I need to get a filter on the return. Flow is not too much of a problem, but the return I might have to cut that and put the 28 to 22 reducer up there, just so we've got enough space to get the filter in. Okay, we have a plan of action. So the rear flue is all done. So you've got 3 screws that hold it into the bracket. The way I do it, there are instructions in the MIs, but the way I do it, I usually screw it into here, poke it through the hole, find out how far away it is from the outside wall, push it back, pull it out, then screw it in here so that fixes the position, comes with this tape to put it in. And then for here I've gone for the core fix screws because we've got dot and dab, so these are great for dot and dabbles because it's got a long plug, you've got metal insert, so that then goes into there, and then you've got these long screws, so they'll basically just go through the plasterboard, through the gap, into the blockwork. Oh my god, it's starting to piss down proper. So yeah, because it's a bit of a crumbly wall, I've used all of the fixings. Make sure we get a good solid fixing. The boiler's not as heavy as the last one, and that was only held on by 4 screws there. This one only literally weighs about 19 kilos, maybe a bit more once it's full of water, but yeah, that's not going anywhere once it's on there. So on these, it come with 2 blanks on it. So you've got the blank for the top, if you're going to go with a top entry flue. Rear entry flue, you just remove this blank. So there were 4 screws in here. Then just top that off, grease the back of the flue, and literally hang the boiler and push it on. And just now I can see where the rear flue is going in. There we go. That's it now. Cool. That's snapped in. Right, where's the 2 screws?
By uni nut.
There's that other bracket in the
Oh yeah.
that slides over it. Where's that other screw? Cool. Right, boiler's on. Now just got to pipe it up. This is going to be fun. Returns here, our returns here, flows here, our flows here. So we need to try and get this higher. Flow shouldn't be too much problem, but return I've got to get a filter on and then bring it round up to there. And above here, don't think it's, no, it's the bathroom I think up here. So we can't even really, let's see what we can do. Hopefully we can just cut this as high as possible and then put these reducing couplings up here and go from there. Just give it a whirl. Okay, so it's all piped up. Had to go a little bit around the houses there because the flow and returns were the wrong way around. So got the filter straight onto the return connection on the boiler, brought it up. Had to solder today because there's no space to get the press gun in here. Managed to keep this as a straight coupling, but I had to run it to the shop to get a 28mm compression elbow with the reducing set to 22, some streets and straight into the filter. Josh is just filling up now, so we're just gonna test everything, make sure we're all good leaks wise, and then just got to do the gas. So the gas there is in 15 at the moment. The gas connection on the boiler is 22, so get that sorted and then have a look at what's the best way to do the condense.
How far down are you? How far down are you?
Probably the diamond bit's gone in now, so it's definitely going. Yeah, that's where it's up to now. I'm halfway. There we go. We're through. Didn't take too long. Hot, hot, hot. Nice. Alright, there we go. So that's a Marcrist, a diamond drill bit from Wicks. 28mm, went through the quartz like butter. So just doing the final bits now, which is the wiring. So I need to wire a wireless thermostat upstairs. Hello Josh.
Hello, Jackie.
So what I'm going to get Josh to do is put the power on and give a heating demand. So that I need to see which one of these is going to be our heating on demand. I think it's this one, this red one, because if I'm going by the 3-port colors, that's our switch live, so it's not going to be that. The blues are neutrals, so it's not going to be that. This brown here, that's going to the pump, so that's the pump live, so it's not going to be that one. That's coming from the room stat on the white, so that's going to be our call for heat. The next yellow one is going to that brown, which is cylinder stat. So this is the only one that's got a double cable connection in there, not going to any of the 3 ports. So I think that is our heating on. So what I need to do is, if that is correct, that heating on needs to come into the common on this, and then I'll wire the white cable into number 3, and that wireless receiver will go on the wall here. So it's going to get Josh to do that now. Right, so at the moment we should have, there should be no power on this if I'm correct. Okay, right, Josh, put the heating on. Okay, right, turn it off. Cool. All right, that's fine. Now turn it off from the spare. Yeah. Cool. Right, there we go. So I've just confirmed that is my heating on demand. So I've just basically got to tie into this, and then that will go into my receiver box here. So I'll show you once I've got it all done. Right, I need to bring a permanent live up here because we haven't got one. The permanent live's all downstairs. So what I'm going to do, because we've got this pump live cable here connected into this, the boiler downstairs doesn't need a permanent live. So what I'm going to do downstairs is take the pump live, put it into the permanent live through the programmer, and this pump live I'll just wire it into the switch live here. So that will work. That will bring me a permanent live feed up here, so I can then put a permanent live into here, because we need a permanent live, neutral, then our common and our switch live. So, yeah, we haven't got a permanent live here, so I'm gonna use one of these, use that one as my permanent live, move that into the switch live there. So I've done all my wiring. So now when I get Josh to flick the spur on, that yellow should be our permanent live now, if my theory is correct. That in there, that in there. Right, Josh, spur on. Do you put the spur on? Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Alright, turn the spur off. Turn it on. Turn it off. Cool, yeah, leave it off. Okay, so that confirms that's our permanent live. The reason why I wasn't making connection because I've loosened that terminal, so it wasn't touching that wire. So we've got a permanent live here. So now I can work off of that, give a permanent live feed to the wireless receiver here, and then wire in the rest of it. Okay, so that's all wired up there. So we've got our live and neutral. So that live is coming from there. We've got our common, which is coming from that terminal there. So that's going to be when the programmer turns on, well, calls for heat, that's going to live in the common there. And then when we turn the stat up, that's going to switch over to number 3, which is our black one, and that's going to go down to the white, which will then get the 3-port to motor over, send power down to the orange, and we will have heating. So I'm just going to tidy this up, put it all back together, and then we can finally do a test run. That's it, boiler's all done, filters all good, soldering's all good. Managed to drill that condense out as well, so that's all good. New programmer, put a new thermostat on as well, and everything's running sweet. No airlocks, fired up first time, vented, commissioned, we're all good to go.